blame, you mad it.
I've been getting on my BNB and stacking these. Pairing it with EMP and then I'm middle P. How to get myself up back before the bull run. How to take some me shit, stick it in the ballroom. I've been getting on my BNB and stacking these. Pairing it with EMP and then I'm middle P. How to get myself up back before the bull run. How to take some me shit, stick it in the ballroom. E-pop got me waiting 3 more hours. Sticking all these years higher than a tower. Having all these nodes feel like superpowers. Investing all this bread, never been a coward. Call me Mr. Bond, money in the vault. I stay in the front, feeling like the goal. Don't worry about the haters, got the detonator. I'll kill in every market, call me Terminator. I've been getting on my BNB and stacking these. Pairing it with EMP and then I'm middle P. How to get myself up back before the bull run. Some me should stick it in the ballroom. I've been getting on my BNB and stacking these. Pairing it with EMP and then I'm middle P. How to get myself up back before the bull run. How to take some me should stick it in the ballroom.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to EMP Money. My name is AJ. I am the team lead here, and this is our live AMA. New year and new background. Again, no more daily live AMAs, but we may get back to that. Who knows? We're just trying to really focus on development and marketing, and all the team members are spread pretty thin over the next few months, building and getting ready to scale. So we ran a poll in all of our socials, and it looks like the community settled on Mondays and Thursdays as our new AMA schedule. So that means 2 AMAs a week. And obviously we'll do special AMAs in between. Like today, we had a lot to go over. I didn't want to wait till Thursday, and we already have Thursday's AMA pretty jam-packed. So we will still be doing intermittent AMAs along the way as well. But a lot to go over today, as usual. Apologies for any background noise. I'm with the kiddos tonight. But I'm also joined by my co-host with the most, Bull and LA. I think Bull might be a little late, but LA, are you there? How are you?
I'm here, doing good, ready for an awesome AMA. I've been missing you guys.
Awesome. Yes, absolutely. I know we have our team meetings, and we're always saying how, it's a good and bad thing. Having less AMAs will let us be a little more productive, but obviously we miss interacting with the community on a daily basis. So this should be a good happy medium. And again, we're not going anywhere. And if we need to do more AMAs, we will. I mean, absolutely. So all right, let me pull up my notes. And also by having this AMA twice a week, we'll be able to actually do show notes ahead of time. So moving forward, you guys will have the same notes that I have, and we can timestamp and the whole 9 yards. So again, this is just to be more efficient as we move forward. So all right, 1 minute here. All right, so one thing I want to lead off with was an amazing Twitter space that we had. It was actually on Sunday night. We were on the Alpha Shares and Ape Squad AMA. I'm sorry, Twitter Space, AMA, Twitter Space. I call them the same thing. I'm a Twitter Space noob. But we had over 500 listeners on that Twitter Space. So I appreciate all of you that ended up showing up. I saw a lot of familiar faces. Unfortunately, we were about an hour late. So again, I apologize if a lot of you were on for that entire hour. But if you were, you got to hear, about some other awesome projects as well. So that was a great space. And yeah, we were excited to do it. I know our Twitter was blowing up afterwards. Right, LA? I know you managed the Twitter. So we had like 200 new subscribers, right?
Yeah, I was getting ready to go to bed, and my phone was literally pinging like 1 follower every 20, 30 seconds, like, boom, this person followed you, boom, this person followed you. It was crazy. Like, my phone would not stop lighting up. Our Twitter blew up that night.
Yeah, that's killer. So again, I think that was well worth it. And again, the whole announcement, and we'll get into more of this a little bit later, but we are a launch partner of the Alpha Shares marketplace. So a lot of familiar faces in the NFT space. This is a new NFT marketplace, just like NF Trade or OpenSea. We're excited to be an official launch partner with them. And we're really going to try to drive a little more traffic over to them. Not only because it's easy to have all three on there, no matter what the network, but also because they're going to have a lot of incentives for the projects that have a lot of daily volume and a lot of fees. Will actually go to not only helping us market, but also maybe even buying back some of the floor on their NFTs or our NFTs rather. So that's an exciting difference that I think is super bullish. So if you have a few NFTs, again, I know a lot of you don't want to even sell them. The floor price on Power Up is just insane. Um, it's still over mint, and there's only like two or three for sale, period. So, but if you do have some that you want to list for sale, please list a few on Alpha Shares. So. Again, all the
I
links.
really like
Go ahead,
I
Ellie.
really liked that feature on their site where you can see the rarity of every single trait on your NFT just right there on their site without having to go to Rarity Sniper. So none of the other marketplaces that we were on up until now did that. So it's kind of nice having it there.
Yeah, great point. Totally, LA. And they have a lot of unique things that they're rolling out. Again, I really like the team. We've had again meetings over the last few weeks, finally, putting this all together. And yeah, I mean, again, it's typically with these, marketplaces, you set it and forget it. But Alpha Shares is really focused on helping grow the people that are on their platform. So again, part of the proceeds. Just to give you an example, what we've been talking about is a slush fund where, again, part of the proceeds go to like the top 10 projects in terms of volume on a monthly basis. And another really cool idea was that they're going to take a part of their own fees and market again. As a conglomerate. So in other words, rather than paying one YouTuber $1,000 for coverage, we can have all the top projects of Alpha Shares contribute $100 and get highlighted on their platform overall. So kind of again a marketing co-op for lack of a better word. So again, a lot of cool stuff. Definitely try to list some NFTs over there if you are wanting to sell them. Again, higher than the floor is probably good, just in case we don't want to give people too good at deals. But I definitely want to try to get some volume over on Alpha Shares. So, all right, that was the first update. Anything else on that, LA?
Nope.
All right, we'll have all those official links too in our socials. They're in all the pinned announcements from a day or two ago if you want to go back and look. Yeah, so and definitely show them some love in their Discord as well. So, all right, another big topic of discussion is our e-share emissions. So, we talked about this a few times now that we are extending the e-share emissions for another year. With that, there's going to be some migration that has to take place. So uh, we will be giving more info on that. However, it may be a little bit last minute, again, on purpose, because we don't want to run into any potential exploits. So about 75% of the overall liquidity on eShare is protocol owned, so that can be migrated no problem. But the other 25% is in LPs that people have not, unbroken or have forgot about, or maybe hacked wallets. So if you're not able to have your LPs migrated automatically in Reactor, and you have a loose LP, we'll give you a full breakdown on what to do, but the overall goal is to break the LP on your own, and then you'll be able to migrate the eShare to the new eShare through a swap function on our website. So again, do not do that now. This is going to be a very specific rollout, and there will probably be some volatility on eShare, but we're prepared for that. Again, because 75% of the LP is owned, we'll mitigate as much as we can. But obviously, it wouldn't make sense, to dump your eShare and try to buy the new eShare contract because you would just be losing money. So you definitely want to just hold tight and then migrate when we're ready because what will happen too is once the migration is over, we will again drain that liquidity of the old eShare and then move that to the new eShare. So again, nothing changes fundamentally. You just have to unpair any LP that you have liquid and or any eShare that is liquid. If you're in the eShare staking pool, I think that we're going to be able to migrate that automatically. And if you're in the boardroom, you also have to just remove whatever you have in the boardroom and put it over to the swapper itself with some potential impermanent loss. So just again, stand by for announcements and it'll be smooth as possible. Again, because we have the majority of the LP in Reactor, that will help mitigate a lot of volatility. So I would take questions on this, but again, I'm sure you all have a ton of questions. So we'll just release notes as we go. Again, just be paying attention. And the swapper will be, open for a certain amount of time. So those that aren't checking daily, are not going to be burned or left out. But it is important that you, again, follow updates on what we're doing. So all that will be coming within the next few days. The actual migration day will be around the 18th or the 19th. So just again, we have a few more days to get all this out. So all right, that is the eShare update. Again, fundamentally, nothing changes, and it'll be a simple process once you're made aware of how it will work. So, all right, the next is our merchandise. LA, I know you have a bunch of updates on that. You want to go ahead? I know you had to head out a little bit early. Oh, and Bull is here now too. So, hi Bull, how are you, brother?
I'm doing well, but let's hear about this merch store so LA can get on that call she needs to get on.
All right, go ahead, LA.
Yeah, so our merch store is officially launching on Thursday. Whoop, 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 whoop. So the way that it's going to work is there will be a countdown clock on the website, and I'll be giving the URL a little bit before the launch. And as I mentioned on a few of the previous AMAs, it's going to be done in kind of like a tiered launch over the next week and a half or so once Thursday rolls around. And the first 24 to 36 hours are going to be the products that were exclusive to those who bought in the Detonator Defenders pre-sale. And then after that, those products will be gone for good, for now, at least. And then every day or so, there's going to be a handful of new products with a couple more of the Detonator Defender designs that those who own Detonator Defender NFTs are able to purchase. Now, what you're purchasing in the merch store is not actually a t-shirt or a hoodie. You're purchasing an NFT, and you can either immediately hand that in for your piece of merch, put in your information to get it delivered, and it'll get shipped to you. Or if you want a cool arbitrage opportunity, you can actually sell that NFT on OpenSea, maybe to someone who doesn't own a Detonator Defender who still wants some of the EMP merch. And so you could maybe even purchase one for yourself and one with the intention to sell on the market. For each piece of merch, each wallet is going to be able to purchase 2 pieces of that, of each individual item, just to be fair. So no one's buying all of them, because each piece has a limited amount available, and when they're gone, they're gone. So it's going to be kind of a fun game. It's going to be really exciting, and I'll keep you guys updated about what's coming the next day, give you guys some hints and sneak peeks, and we'll be having a lot of fun, and it'll be super exciting.
Awesome, LA. Sorry, I was muted again. Yeah, I'm the pro at that, talking and not unmuting myself. But yeah, no, I'm so excited for that. I mean, again, LA has been putting in a ton of work, again, using this new platform that really brings the merch to the whole Web3 experience. And so, like LA said, there's kind of a gamification, of the merch store itself, which fits with our brand and our vision, that we've already built. So yeah, really excited for that. And again, moving forward, we will have, just our basic merch again, that is a little more accessible. But these limited edition launches are going to be something that we really hype, moving forward. And again, give another earning potential, as well as getting badass merch. So yeah, super excited for all that.
And just so you're ready, you'll need BUSD to purchase.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks for clarifying, LA. So, yep, BUSD again. Moving forward, we had talked about trying to implement, EMP, but obviously we don't want sell pressure on EMP. But we may be able to implement eShare, down the road again as another utility. But for right now, just BUSD, in the merch store. So, yeah, really exciting. All right, and you said Thursday, right, LA?
Thursday, yep.
All right, awesome. So yeah, we'll have a bunch of
Actually, she said Thursday. Whoop whoop.
yeah, that is what she said. Totally. Yes, I'm excited. A whoop whoop for sure. Yeah. So, all right, awesome. All right, I'm running a little bit out of order here. And LA, if you gotta jump on, just feel free to interrupt me. But thanks for being here. And Bull, I know you're here for the remainder. So LA had to jump on another call. So all right, I'm running a little out of order. Just to recap one more time, on these other two I already mentioned, but the Alpha Shares Marketplace. Again, we are a new official launch partner of theirs. That doesn't mean we're not supporting NF Trade or OpenSea. Those are going to be the 3 major retailers for our NFTs, or marketplaces rather. But we really want to try to get more volume on Alpha Shares, because a portion of their fees will go back to supporting not only our project, but a lot of the projects that are in the top 10 of their volume in terms of marketing and floor sweeps as well. So again, typically in these NFT marketplaces, there is no further support to projects. You get listed and that's it. But Alpha Shares has a unique model that we're really happy with. So if you do have some NFTs, go ahead and list them, or see if you can buy some off the floor. I know we've been sweeping on all 3 as well. The floor price of Sentinels has been going bananas this week. Again, it was down. I think a lot of people were selling them, to take some profit, and buy some Christmas gifts or holiday gifts. But I know Crypto Kings, a large YouTuber, was really bullish on them. He bought a ton. He's been accumulating. We've seen some other larger whales continue to accumulate, and again, the Treasury has been doing buybacks on all 3 of the NFTs. The only ones we haven't done is Power Up, because the floor price is so good on Power Up already, and there's like 3 available for sale on OpenSea, which again is super super thin floor. So, but everything else we're supporting as we go, and we do get a 5% royalty on OpenSea, on NF Trade, and on Alpha Share. So that 5% royalty is still in place as well. So, all right. And then the other thing I mentioned earlier, but just to recap, is the new AMA schedule. So every Monday and Thursday at 6:45 Eastern, our normal time, and we will do intermittent AMAs with either special guests or partnerships, or if there's just a busy week that we need to do 3 in 1 week, we will. So we're not going anywhere. This just allows us to be a bit more productive behind the scenes. So, Bull, anything you want to add to any of that? I know you were a little bit late, but good to have you, bro. Hope all is well. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Oh yeah, I was changing a headlight in one of those pesky new cars, and you just can't work around in those things. It's impossible. You got to be like a gymnast and a contortionist and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I'm happy to be here, and I'll just throw in one last element when we talk about like a more, a little bit of a different AMA schedule, and something that I've always thought was important, and that kind of allowed other people to work their way up, like me or LA, and other people, was the ability to speak on the AMAs, and for all the people that haven't been here, something that I think we got away from a little bit was that, like a little bit more community speech, on the AMAs, where back in the day, there used to be a lot of us where we talk maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and I would kind of like to get back to that too, where everybody that wants to jump on, maybe can, like just let us know ahead of time that they want to get on and maybe talk about a topic or talk about, maybe an experience or something like that. Something that, like that lets that person's voice be heard a little bit louder, especially, for those people that are, constantly, giving aid to people in the back, and that didn't sound good, but giving help to people, behind the scenes, I'll say, and with that, allowing other people that might not see that or know about that to say, oh, whoa, that person's doing an amazing job, and to have a little bit of a more of a community spotlight on those people that are really excelling and helping other people.
Yeah, absolutely, Bull, and that is a great point. And something that has been on my mind even today. For this AMA, I posted in our VIP and just said, "Hey guys, like, what do you want us to cover more of?" And that's a perfect segue because that's what we're gonna cover next is some feedback from them on what we need to go over. But Bull's 100% right, and we are looking into not only streaming or simulcasting on Telegram, which again, if you want to be asking questions through voice, join our Telegram and raise your hand. We'll have time for that at the end. Or type your comment on YouTube if you're not, able to do that or you're shy. But yeah, we're gonna try to simulcast on Discord and Twitter and have a Twitter space as well. I think I will be able to do all 4. I haven't tried it yet, so we'll have to pick a light AMA day, or maybe we'll do a test one night where we can do all 4 platforms. I think that it will work the way I have it set up, but again, I'm no streaming expert. So that way, again, all of our communities can kind of be a little more tight knit and try to centralize a lot of the engagement on these AMAs. So all right, awesome. And again, no question is ever off the table. Just make sure that you're respectful and you're asking the right questions. For example, just saying when peg really is not productive. But if you ask, how is peg affected? What can I do to help peg? I understand that peg is going down, but what are the factors, that determine that? Like those are productive questions. So again, just to give a little more, input with that. So, all right. What is the next thing on my list? All right, so Treasury investment updates. So this is a long one. We could do a whole AMA on this alone, but we have been again continuing to, diversify our Treasury. I know a lot of people are asking for our Treasury to do buybacks. The simple reality is that that isn't going to happen. So, a lot of other protocols have died, spending all their Treasury funds on a short-term recovery. and that is exit liquidity for bad actors. So, obviously we want to do what we can to support the protocol, and we've been really, really smart with the investments and reserves that we have. And the whole idea, again, before I get into specifics, the whole idea is that we leverage our treasury to produce yield, and then that yield is what is used, for buybacks of EMP or eShare or whatever, injections into Detonator, whatever needs to happen for the health of the ecosystem. By doing that, you never touch the principal, and therefore we never risk going completely broke by doing so. So that's the overall strategy that we've implemented. And again, we continue to diversify into, things. I'll be 100% honest. We have a lot of our reserves just sitting there right now until the market decides what to do. We are overly conservative on a lot of things that we do rather than trying to, degen into something and then put the whole project at risk, if it does collapse. And we never have more than 10% of the overall treasury funds allocated to one particular investment either. So we did have some funds in Goldbridge. Again, we're waiting on the disbursement, just like all of you are. I don't think, it's, a rug or anything like that. For those that don't know, we're having issues with the banks, and they're processing the actual payment. So they're waiting, the exchange that Goldbridge uses is waiting on a new banking partner to then process literally millions of dollars of withdrawals. So again, funds are there. I've seen it. Mike is still, involved in that. Jonathan Teller as well. They've released a bunch of videos in their private groups about it. So if you're in Goldbridge, you know what's up. If you're not in Goldbridge, hopefully we get it soon. Again, that was fairly minimal compared to the overall treasury, which is good. Um, and we are allocating more to Project 79, which is a very similar, exposure that Goldbridge was. That is from the Hydro Whales team, Project 79. They are trading gold, but like literally trading it, like driving from the mine to the retailer. So again, not on an exchange, but actually commerce of gold. So we're bullish on that. Again, we have an allocation to that. We have a large allocation to Splinterlands and Growth DeFi. Again, all the DOS partners, we make a commitment not to dump the majority of those rewards. Obviously, we have to pay our bills and pay for Chainlink services, but we make a commitment to use those assets to yield on our behalf. So again, those have been doing well. SPS has found a bottom. It was definitely dumping for a while, but now it seems like it's found a floor. So it's starting to go up again. So yeah, and I mean, all these investments could be a major, major windfall for us when the bull market returns. So again, right now it's about accumulating, just like we say on every AMA to all of you. That's what we're doing behind the scenes as well. So we're doing everything we can to support EMP long term, but we won't just have a flash in the pan and risk, the treasury funds overall. So that's a high level overview. Again, I know a lot of you have been asking for like a monthly audit. I know that we said we were going to do that. I have every intention of doing that. We've just been so busy and focused on other things. And, I want to be really careful with how we do that, as to not open up any exploits or give out, more information than we need to be giving out. So again, it is on the radar, and we'll do everything we can to be as transparent as possible. We need a few more weeks to really get it out, and not to mention all hands on deck building for the final form. So, all right, Bull, anything you want to add to that? I don't know. Again, we try to keep things a little vague on purpose, but hopefully that gives people an idea of the overall strategy on why we don't just spend our treasury on a peg recovery.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think we saw that last time, in getting up to 0.97, and I think people taking that as an opportunity to swing trade EMP when everybody should know that it's the share token, not the farm token, where you swing trade, you arbitrage, and as that appreciates in value so much quicker, and it's so much of a smarter play when you see peg ticking back up versus dumping EMP, especially when you have other holdings. And I pointed it out to a few people that, like, if we just look back to that example of going from 0.42 to 0.96 or 7, whatever exactly it was, that was, a 55 point gain. And so if you look at that and, you like take a step back and look at eShare at that same point that eShare was, or PEG was at 0.42, eShare was at $110. And, if you were swing trading and, made 40 or 50% gain on EMP, that pales in comparison to the 3, 4, 5, 6x that you could have made trading eShare in that same time period. So I don't know why anybody would, swing trade or call themselves even a swing trader and say that that was a smart move when smart money did that play on eShare, not on EMP. So, following that, like, everybody should put that to use. And if you don't want to use one of the multiple ways to use EMP, you can bank it, because you can rest assured if you're selling, and I'm probably preaching to the choir, so not no disrespect intended to the people that are listening. It's just that I know that people were swing trading then, and I just don't see the point when you can bank it and do so much better on eShare, not hurt the system, and especially if you're in the other parts of the ecosystem, just see much better returns when we keep an elevated eShare price. And if we just go back and look at that example getting to 0.97, and then people having eShare at 600, 650, whatever, they may have sold that, but taking advantage of, those gains on eShare actually to push us over that 0.97 to 1, understanding that the gains that you get from eShare, using it as a, and I'm not telling you to sell all of your eShares in that case, but using that as a measure to push PEG over 101, turn the boardroom on, and the bulk of your eShares, are going to have so much more value, because everybody that's not listening to these AMAs are not like engaged. The people that are familiar with Tomb Forks that are just watching PEG would have saw that and said, oh shit, it's at 101, or it's at 0.98, 1.0, 101. That's when all the people that are on the outside that have left come back in and say, oh, okay, I'm going to jump in and buy eShares. And those are the people that start buying at 600, 700, 800. And that's how the peg wave starts, because people are taking those eShare profits and using them to buy EMP and support peg, and having TWAP above 101, and then farming eShares and potentially having bought a number of eShares also, but using those profits of eShare to support peg, knowing that the longer that we see TWAP above 101, we're going to see massive returns on eShare. And so just understanding that a bulk of the eShares are locked up in Reactor. Some people are still time locked on the farm, the single staking farm. And so, like, if you were to look at the current situation in the boardroom, and I haven't looked in a while, but like I looked one day and I was like, oh wow, 20%. Okay. That's what we would see. But if people have that idea of using EMP as a source, a cash flow source, you're really hurting your ability to actually earn because uh, holding peg like we did in the 55-day peg run, we saw that E-share go from 300 to 3,000, and it wasn't a measure of like it happened like a wick. It was days and days and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks where you had opportunities to sell out and earn, like a tremendous amount like on your investment, better than, I mean, honestly, better than, probably any other tomb fork that I've ever seen because of the length of time that that peg run happened. And that's all a measure of protecting peg. It's a measure of using, that share token as a vehicle to protect peg. So the remaining share tokens that you have, staked either on the farm or your stakes in the reactor, or if you have shares in your wallet, those are all a measure to earn, increase the value of those. And as eShare price escalates, we see APRs rise throughout the farm. And because, the reactor is there and we have a great deal of that eShare locked in the reactor, when the boardroom does turn back on, we could see some pretty astronomical daily APR or daily interest rates in there because of the amount of production that's going to happen in the boardroom in conjunction with the reduced amount of shares that are available. And when the people outside of the ecosystem see that, I think, there's going to be some really fireworks, but it's a matter of understanding, like that, not necessarily your duty to protect peg, but, if you want to act in your own best financial interest, it's using EMP, to fuel the growth of eShare and protect peg so that you can profit through eShare because, as I refer to it, as an invisible third lottery where, you can reach much better returns much quicker than any other thing in the entire system or really on any other DeFi platform.
Totally, Bull. And again, I think we get a little bit complacent now that we've been doing this for a year that we don't really go over those fundamentals like we should. So that was brilliant, Bull. I appreciate you doing a deep dive, on how the boardroom works, why it's important to take profit in eShare to support EMP and not the other way around. Again, those are all fundamental things that as a community will get us back to peg in no time. And again, that is the beauty of the seigniorage model is that, the system protects itself. So right now we're below peg because people just continue to sell EMP and they don't understand, the overall logistics and, that what's better for yourself as an investor because we want everybody to win. Like there is no ulterior motives here. The way you profit the most in the ecosystem is by playing by these recommended strategies that ultimately help the protocol overall as well. And I forgot to mention it earlier, but we saw ETH have a little bit of a breakout today. Again, I'm not a trader, but I do look at, technical analysis just as another indicator. I'm much more inclined to like market sentiment. I think that has a lot more to do with anything than, lines on a graph, but all of it's info that we can kind of take in and make, assessments based on all the data that we have. And so, yeah, my point is there was a breakout on ETH. From a really long descending triangle. So hopefully that's a good sign. And I think there are a lot of whales at EMP, that have had money on the sideline. I know there was a lot of tax loss harvesting at the end of the year where whales were selling and then buying back to show a loss. So there is a lot of money on the sidelines. I think, when the market kind of figures out what it's going to do, the capital could flow back in a very, very short amount of time. So, and also in full transparency as well, we never announce a buyback. I guess that once we start doing the audits, we can probably announce afterwards. But that peg run up that Bull mentioned with the Sentinel Squadron, a lot of that was organic. I mean, we definitely had a part in trying to get the momentum going with some buybacks. We did buy a lot of eShare as well, and that's an ongoing strategy, which I see some comments in YouTube that we'll get to at the end here. But it is kind of a chicken or the egg scenario where is it a better impact to support EMP price, or is it a better impact to support the eShare price? So um, we've experimented with both of that. The short answer is, obviously the higher the price of eShare, the better the APR. But that means that people have to be paying attention, to want to buy new EMP and go into the farms to earn that higher price of eShare. So there it is again, chicken or the egg. What comes first as far as the most beneficial? But the system is built, to have that again. The hot word everybody uses now is called a flywheel. I think it's funny. I mean, I've never called it a flywheel, but I guess it makes sense. That the ecosystem will start having that flywheel effect when things start moving in the opposite direction. So and again, final form will have a lot to do with that. That's my next update here. But Bulls, anything you want to add about that before we move on to final form? And please don't throw a curveball at my head. Yeah.
Oh, I'll throw a fastball.
Or
No, I'm just kidding,
fastball.
bro.
Oh, curveball,
Uh,
fastball. Yeah, yeah.
all right, all right. So, like I have spoke to like some people that haven't been here, and because we've talked about how the dynamics of the AMA have changed, and we used to use a really like just simple example of the ecosystem, and if you were to think of like EMP as the gas, for your car, ETH really being your car, and using obviously EMP as the gas to power your car to drive to work to get your e-share. um, that's a really simple and powerful analogy, like because I don't ever see somebody sucking the gas out of their car so that in a parking lot so that they can buy a cheeseburger. I don't see it, and so I see people buying a vehicle so that they can get to work. um, so that they can upgrade basically their jobs, so they can upgrade their car, et cetera, et cetera. And so the point is to use that, EMP matched with ETH and drive it to work to get that e-share to, upgrade your ride to get that better ride. So somebody sees you in a flashy car and, potentially you get a better job that obviously is paying you more e-share. And, simple examples like that, I think illuminate, the real power of the system and the sense that it doesn't make to sell the gas out of your car to make a living. Because when you do that, you just hurt the rest of your life. You go out there to start your car and there's no gas, and you're like, oh yeah, oh shit, I forgot I sold the gas out of my car. And you just don't want to be in that situation and you want to make your life easier. And eShare is really, no pun intended, but the way to make, I was going to say vehicle, but that wouldn't have made sense in this example. It is really the asset to make your life easier here because it's liquid and it can do so much. It doesn't affect the system negatively when you sell it. And when we do use it and understand how that use case for eShare to how it drives value throughout the rest of the system, and raising those APRs and using it really to protect peg, because everything, everybody outside of the system, that's really what they see is peg, 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 peg. So what we can do, to protect, peg, and using eShare is really the key to do that. And if you can't do that, the simple way to do it is to put your EMP to use with one of our partners, and or just bank it in your wallet and wait for the final form.
Yep, 100%. Um, Absolutely, Bull. And again, I think, that analogy is so perfect. Like, I know that the seniors model can be very complicated to a lot of people. We've done everything in our power through NFTs and through education, to alleviate that. But the reality is that, we just got to continue to drive home, how the system works. And yeah, I mean, you would never sell your gas to pay your bills. So you use that cash to go to work, to have a great paying job, and earn eShare. And that is, again, how it works. And those that take profit in eShare, again, we're all here to make money. Again, we're never here to give financial advice. We can just talk about strategy. And, those that are selling eShare now, I mean, yes, eShare is a profit-taking vehicle. Everybody is entitled. That's the beauty of crypto. Nobody is standing over your shoulder to press the buttons for you. But the point is that, you also don't want to be selling at the bottom. And I think, a lot of people get worried about going down with a sinking ship. Obviously, detonator pool balance is down, peg is down. But that's just the reality of the market that we're in. And I don't use that as a crutch or an excuse. It's just the reality. And again, I mean, we still have literally, I just looked at it yesterday on Deck Screener. There is $5 million of liquidity in EMP ETH LP. So that is a major sign of health. And when we're at 100,000 terms of total liquidity, like 99% of every DeFi protocol that's out there that is even alive, or by now they're already dead anyway. But that is a much better way of measuring the health of the ecosystem, in my opinion. So, all right, hopefully that helps clarify a lot of stuff. What else? So, and again, we will get to questions. I see a bunch on YouTube. I love the engagement. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to help us, again, get our engagement up as well. But the next topic is final form. So, and one of the questions I just saw is, what is the main delay with launching Final Form? Well, I don't think there's any delay. The Final Form is going to be a major undertaking. So we never ever announced that we're going to be launching it anytime soon. We're hoping the end of quarter 1. That is the time frame that I gave. So that's about 3 months from now to have everything up and going. But this is going to be a very heavy lift for us. So and it's revolutionary. I know on a previous AMA, I said that this is revolutionary. It has never been done in crypto, and I can stand by that and tell you that that is the case. So everything that we do right. We don't half-ass anything, and so we have a lot of effort being put in. The actual development is what is next, actually bringing it to life. But the white paper and the overall, strategy and what this looks like is pretty much done. We have one more meeting this week to finalize, and then after that, we'll be able to release the name of what it is, give you a little bit more insight on how it's going to work. But we're also, again, being vague on purpose to, not give too much away to people that would try to reverse engineer what we're doing as well. So we want to make sure we're well ahead of the development schedule before we release a lot of the actual meat and potatoes of what we're doing. But I can tell you that I've never been more bullish and excited. It's a way for us to not only really maximize sustainability, but it's also an amazing way to give utility, lasting utility to both eShare and EMP, to where and I've said this all along, the ultimate goal is to make it where you have more value holding your EMP or applying it to the final form than selling it. So and all the while having exposure to both eShare and BNB. So I think once we finally release this, all of you will finally understand the vision that we've been building towards, and I'm really excited for what that holds. So, and like Paul said, I mean, the idea right now is accumulating your EMP to be ready for final form, because again, EMP and eShare are the key to how it will operate. So, it is gonna, we will still have a similar boardroom mechanism, but it will be different. So it's not a complete redesign from the ground up, but it is a much more healthy and sustainable economic structure that doesn't rely on any future bull market or bear market. It really leverages our community, which again, you put some pieces together on what I'm dropping. But yeah, bull. I mean, I'm really excited for it. I know you've been involved in all the planning, as well as some people of our core team, our core community, and even some people that we haven't introduced yet. Cody being one of them, one of the smartest guys I've ever met in my life. But yeah, you want to add anything to that, Bull, without giving away the sauce? Yeah,
Yeah, well, I think you gave away a lot of sauce. I hope people are paying attention.
yeah,
But
totally.
truly, the sauce is any. It is. Yeah, I'll just throw the Easter egg out there. Like it's nothing that AJ hasn't said for the last 11 months. The goal has always been to give EMP and eShare more utility and to make it to the point of where it's very profitable to hold both of those. And so, somebody asked me a question today about, a lending platform. And, the ironic thing a little bit is that this is already a lending platform in a sense, right? Like you're lending your liquidity to earn a daily interest. And so it's not lending in the sense that like you think about it from the bank's perspective, right? But if the bank were to look at that, like this project, just as an example, they'd be like, oh yeah, shit, we've been doing that for 300 years. But how do you make those type of numbers? And really just comes down to capital efficiency. But the point is that there's already a lending mechanism here in the sense, like I say, you're giving up your LP for daily interest and long-term sustainability and profitability. And so we see the ups and the downs with that, but obviously the goal with Final Form is to let's just say rejig that model a little bit and put a bit more emphasis on staking it and not making eShare as the vehicle to drive value throughout the system, but to use them in perfect parity to have eShare and EMP working in perfect synergy, if you will, to create value instead of relying on the current mechanism. And as you said, things will change a bit. The base ideas are going to be very, very close to the same. It's just going to be a little bit of a slide to the left, slide to the right, make it look a little bit different and come at the same type of issue from a different angle to obviously, as you said in the past, AJ, to take this from a crypto project to a crypto business. And to do that, obviously requires some rewiring, let's say, I guess.
For sure.
Being that I was just changing the headlight.
Another great little
Yeah,
Easter
so
egg.
yeah,
Bull,
it's just gonna,
rewiring. I love it. Yes, bro. Yeah. So,
yeah, yeah, and that's right. We've always kind of referred to the system as a financial Lego, like a kit, right? And so you're just sliding the pieces around. It's the same pieces that you've had in the set, but the ability to use them in a different fashion where, previously, like the directions didn't say you could do that, but you have the pieces, you have the creativity, and you have the right people in place to, rewire those pieces and figure it out. And it's not just the people like on the team, like literally, like, so this is another thing we were talking about today was that, some ideas that we have here just won't work in other places because the variables are different. And I've always said that the community here is the biggest variable difference between every other thing because by and large, this is a professional adult well-mannered, good-intentioned, helpful, productive community. And there's nothing wrong to like with communities that are full of degens. I think they're pretty honest about it. But some ideas just won't work there because they won't accept them. And so, trying to find a marriage between, let's call it the white collar class and the blue collar class, and no disrespect intended to either one. Um, but to find out like, oh, holy shit, you like to drink beer? Oh yeah, yeah, me too. And it doesn't matter that, one guy works at the bank, one guy works at the garage. They both like beer, and finding that perfect synergy really between those pieces and those communities. That's really what the final form is about. It's the ability to take the power of DeFi, put it in people's hands, use this incredible, two model that, to be quite honest, is, it's not perfect, but nothing in life will ever be perfect. Your life is going to be a constant work in progress and a seek. You're seeking to find, the answers for that particular problem that you might have. But, there's no better like industry or vehicle in the world than DeFi to bring that, because like the financial Legos that exist here, they're incredibly powerful. It's why every bank, every financial institution in the world wants to be in DeFi. It's why they start, VC firms, so the VC firms can come here and invest where they can't. And so, we look at that, and you have to find like the balance that between the disagreements, but finding the value where all of these pieces can have like maximum impact, and in the communities that they can have maximum impact. And it's going to be slightly different for everybody of how they're going to operate in the system, but ultimately it'll come down to that vision that AJ had probably on day one, about that, holding EMP, holding eShare to create value. That doesn't mean that, you won't be able to sell eShare. Sure, you will be, but um, you know, in most cases, some situations, it'll be situational. It might be a lot more profitable for you to, have those paired together, not necessarily in an LP, but using them in conjunction with one another to get a desired outcome that you're looking for. And it's not easy by any stretch of the imagination. And kind of trying to answer that question a little bit of why isn't it available? Well, because degens and DeFiers are incredibly crafty, and trying to like talk about like the exploits and edge cases and trying to avoid those, not for us, not for our sake, but for everybody's sake, because you don't want to spend 5 months building something and then see a few really smart people ruin it right away, or and so there's a lot of thought that has to go into it, and a lot of conversations and a lot of coding, a lot of UI work, a lot of UX work. And so it's not it's not a overnight project. And I think if we just look at Ethereum is a work in progress itself, and it's been around since 2014 realistically, and probably longer in Vitalik's head. So it's a matter of, there's a lot of moving pieces trying to, get those all put together in a maximum type of way, so that, the maximum effectiveness can be brought to the table to give people sustainability and profitability. Those are really important things here, because this isn't just, an overnight project for like people to get rich. This isn't a bunch of blank avatars of people that we don't care about. Like, we care about all the people here, and so there's a lot that goes into making sure that this is right. So that's it.
I love it, Bull. Man, that was incredible. We're gonna have to clip that whole segment, because I think that's a great, an absolutely perfect way of teasing final form, giving just enough info that people can get excited, but not giving away the keys to the kingdom for sure. And there's 2 points I want to make on that too, and then we'll move on. But the first is, I think, you know, all of us, the holy grail of crypto and DeFi is getting into a project that will pay you, you know, without any Ponzonomics or, you know, actual revenue that is being generated that then supports the token. And so, you know, unfortunately, that's still really difficult to do, you know, in the real world, meaning, you know, applying funds to the real world, not reliant on the overall, you know, world economy to generate yield, then to bridge it back to the crypto world and then pay it out. So that hasn't been perfected. Maybe it will. Maybe you know, we'll have a hand in that. Maybe we won't. But my point is that with Final Form, you know, the shift is to actual revenue streams. Everything that we've continued to say all along, what we're already doing with our own treasury, but bringing that to a whole new level. Because once you can eliminate the need, you know, for new user volume, you know, no matter how insignificant it may be, and really just rely on pure supply and demand economics, that is where I think we're going to see some absolutely incredible, not only profit, but sustainability as well. And I think that we're poised to crack that code, so to speak. And again, I mean, this is something we've been working on for a really, really long time. I'm one of the original, and I've said this on other Tomb on other AMAs. I'm one of the original Tomb investors. I made a ton of money in Tomb, and that's what really, you know, got me excited for having a version of our own that we can make even better. And you know, a lot of these seniors models. And I've always viewed them as this, and I know I've had some conversation with other project owners that have the same vision, but I've always seen these seniors models as basically a year-long liquidity driving event, or basically a year-long pre-sale where you know you're able to accumulate the native asset, you know, over months and months and months. Again, I say a year because typically the share emissions on these protocols only last a year. We're extending that because we're building. You know, and we have a lot more features that these protocols don't have to have use case, and so. But my point is that you know this is how we get the token out into the wild, and then we transition into a way of truly making things as profitable as it can be. And you know, again, Tomb is an example. You know, they had their year long. You know, liquidity event, in my eyes, is what it was, and then they launched their Tomb chain, and you know, Magic is another example. You know, Magic had their emission schedule, and now they're transitioning into a you know a play to earn game. So I think all of these have their place, and again, EMP will have a final form of something very very powerful. And again, I think a lot of you may be able to put some puzzle pieces together from what Bull said. But we will be again releasing all this info. You know, I've said it on other AMAs. We have literally a 40-page document that is the inner workings of how this is going to happen. I hope the white paper is not 40 pages, so it will definitely be more concise. And now, again, after this week, we'll be bringing it to the big brains, some advisors in our community. A lot of you know them, not necessarily team members, but you know, integral parts of our community. We'll let them have a round of revisions, what they think of it, how we can make it better, how what's a problem or potential exploit, and then after that, Jake and the rest of our new devs will get to work. And so, and I have spoken to Jake again. I'm going to try to get him on the AMAs a little more often. He's just been so busy. I know a lot of you would love to hear from him from time to time on the development rollout. So all that is in the works over the next few months as we continue to, you know, get to that end goal. So All right. Anything else on that, Bull? I have two more quick announcements, and then we'll take a few questions. Nope. All right, we're good. All right. So the last two things was I did tease a potential partnership this week. They are a little bit behind, so we may still be able to have it by the end of the week, but it may be one additional week. Um, but this is a really exciting, again, additional use case for your EMP and your eShare. You don't need any new dry powder to be involved in this, unless obviously you want to load up on EMP and eShare to increase your bags. But this is another protocol that a lot of you are invested in. We have a big overlap in our communities, and I absolutely love what they have built. I know, again, Bull, we don't want to give it away too soon, but Bull was in on the meeting. And again, I think you're as excited for this as I am, right, Bull? In terms of utility and, again, more additional buying pressure on both eShare and EMP.
Oh yeah, yeah. Absolutely. But I don't want to steal their thunder or ruin their mojo. But yeah, like it addresses, I think, some of the core problems like in DeFi and really puts the power in the user's hands. Let's just put it that way.
Perfect. Yep. That's all. That's all that needs to be said. Again, it'll be here before we know it. Again, we're finishing up. Hopefully, I literally spoke to the dev before this AMA. He said 2 more days at the most. So hopefully by Friday. Again, we have a weekend special AMA when they're ready, so we can drive traffic to what they're doing. But I'm excited. Again, the code is completely unique, and it's been audited by Paladin. That's another reason why it was taking so long. Obviously, I don't ever want to, partner or promote a project that doesn't do their due diligence, but everything came back squeaky clean, and yeah, we're excited for what that holds. So, and once we announce it, you guys will say, "Oh man, I remember those guys." So yeah, it's going to be exciting. So, all right, that was that, and then oh, last but not least, too, just a real quick shout out. MDB, another one of our long-term partners, making DeFi better. They had a really bullish announcement today. So I don't want to spend too much time, but go over to their Discord and check out the announcements. The long story short is they're developing a sister project that will drive a ton of volume into MDB. So go check that out. Some really exciting stuff for them as well. So, all right, now we can take some questions. I wanted to go through YouTube really fast. I mentioned it a little bit earlier from Mario. Mario M. Basically said, what would be better, supporting the price of EMP or the price of eShare? And yeah, that goes back to what I said about the chicken or the egg. I mean, obviously, the higher the eShare price, the better the APR is. But that also would require, people to take advantage of that APR to be able to add new capital and buying more EMP and going into the farm. So if you support EMP directly, then people get more excited that PEG is not going down. And then are more confident in the platform to add more capital that way. So it really is, again, uh, 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 your guess is as good as mine, put it that way. But we are supporting both of EMP and eShare indirectly through Treasury yield. So, all right. And yeah, Vino mentioned utility. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the ultimate goal is that, we don't have to do injections, that we have enough utility on both eShare and EMP that the market bears, what it will without our help. So that would be the ideal situation, where there's enough utility and demand in eShare and EMP that automatically and organically drives volume into those tokens to get back to PEG and then maintain peg as well. So, and that's how the system's designed. I mean, again, it's a proven model. You know, Bull said it great. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect, but it is a proven model, and we've added so many things on top of the protocol to make it perfect, or as perfect as we possibly can. You know, under the year that we've been building. So, and that's another crazy part of this is like, you know, DeFi moves at lightning speed. You know, we've been around a year, which is an eternity in crypto, but you also have to take a step back and look at all that we've accomplished in just 1 year. Is pretty amazing. I mean, you know, Detonator is a proprietary, built from the ground up, you know, code that's been launched. Again, Detonator as a service. We're ramping that up as well. I have, no joke, I have 6 projects in the pipeline. We just have to prioritize getting eShare upgrades for the migration done because that could be potentially, you know, a major detriment to the protocol if we don't have emissions extended. So that is the #1 priority. But after that, it is Detonator as a service and Final Form 100%. So, all right. I think that was it. Any other questions I missed? Bull, I think that was all of them on YouTube. So yeah, any other questions on Telegram or anybody that wants to chime in on voice, feel free to raise your hand. All right, I think that was it. There was one last minute question. This is this is a good one. I'm glad we're gonna end with this. It says, not even DeFi. All these codes are being changed by a team on a regular basis. Is the contract renounced? This is not decentralized. You are just trusting dudes named Bull and AJ. So, yeah, I mean, again, we've always said this from day one. You know, there is I think that the whole idea of decentralization can be used not in the right context a lot of times. There has to be some level of centralization and trust in a project because I promise you that had we not or had we renounced contracts and not adjusted code or you know upgraded things, this project would have failed within the first 2 months, just like every other seigniorage protocol that we've seen that is no longer around. So you know, I think that again, if you're not comfortable trusting a dude named AJ and a dude named Bull, then you don't have to invest. We're never have a call to invest. We never give financial advice. We're never here to convince anybody. But you know, you have to have that flexibility of being able to edit the code or add, you know, to contracts or move funds around in a treasury. I mean, again, nothing is done malicious. I think that we've proven that over the last year, and again, as one of the only DeFi projects that is still kicking with an amazing amount of liquidity. So yeah, go ahead, Bull. You want to add to that? I love it when you get fired up. So let's hear it. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm not. You know, yeah, no, I'm not going to fire into this guy, like,
Yeah. Okay.
because it's a fair question.
It is, and he
But
said that's fair. So yeah.
you know, yeah, no, it is a fair question, and you know, truth be told, as you said, you don't have to trust anybody. However, I don't think there's a decentralized way to get money into crypto, with the exception of maybe mining, which isn't decentralized anyway. I think decentralized is an overused buzzword to make people feel like, you know, like you do have a measure of control. And where you've heard me talk about this idea, like, so if you use a bridge is completely centralized. If you use the centralized exchange, it's completely centralized. If you use, you know, a service to get your money in here, more than likely completely centralized. And so I think the more accurate assessment is, do you, believe in the power of people to create things or companies? I think there's probably a marriage or a balance of somewhere in between, because like on the surface, it sounds really good to be able to control and decentralize, but um, would a true decentralized project actually, allow you to manipulate the code? That would be true decentralization. And how well would a project work if somebody implemented a code, somebody went in and changed it 5 minutes later, and or you renounce a contract that's flawed and exploitable, and somebody takes it out. So in the idea of saying something is decentralized, you give up a measure of something else. You give up a measure of the potential to control. Like, let's say you had a contract that had $50 million in it. Would you renounce it and say this thing is perfect, and then somebody finds an exploit in it and drains it dry? But you could have fixed it in the meantime, but the DAO voted not to because the hacker himself owned a majority of the DAO because he stole a majority of the tokens, like happened on a platform about 3 months ago. And
Yeah,
so
that's an amazing point, Bull. Not to interrupt you,
there's
but
a trade-off.
that was a huge one of my points is that,
Yeah.
yeah, everybody asked for a DAO, but what you guys, a lot of people don't understand that not only are founders large voters in DAOs, which again, it defeats the purpose to begin with, but yeah, that was a perfect example, Bull. There was actually a
Hmm.
flash loan attack on a DAO that was, that founders didn't even have allocation to, and they were able to vote to
Hmm.
basically drain the treasury. So yeah, everything is flawed. Go ahead, Bull. Sorry, that was good. You're on
Yep.
a great tangent. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, yeah, no worries, AJ. Like, yeah, no, it's like it is a great concept, because I think people attach it to the ability to control and influence your life with completely independent of anybody else. But unless you're living in the woods, with clothes made out of trees or leaves or whatever, like, your measure and your ability to escape society and other people, like, it doesn't exist. And I don't want to get into an abstract thing here, but just the point is that if we look at it, it's about finding a balance of somewhere in between, right? And what works for the majority. It might not work for some people, and that's cool, right? Like, okay, it doesn't work for you, like, don't invest. But if we looked at like a truly decentralized model, is exactly what I said, would give somebody the ability to alter the contract, because technically, right, that would be decentralized, allowing everybody input. A hacker doing their work is just making a decentralized decision. And so, is that what we want in crypto, or do we want, a measure of, sustainability and profitability, and the ability for a malicious actor to not come in and disrupt the system, solely in the vein of it being decentralized or renounced, or some other word that potentially makes you feel really good. Because truthfully, like, it's a nice word. Like, I got into crypto because I have a degree, like, in history and finance, and this just really, really spoke to me on a very, kind of deep level, because I'm like, all my family are either farmers or road workers, and they always talked about this ability to own your life, and working before the sun came up and quitting when the sun went down, and making your own choices. And that's what crypto gives you. However, we don't ever have that luxury in life to be completely independent from one another, because we live in societies, we live in community, we're connected in so many ways, and that
like the outcome of our neighbor affects us, and just like the wallet next to you in Detonator, affects like your share percentage. And are these perfect systems? No, but it is a measure of trying to make sure that we're doing the right things that the community wants, the community asks. And we can't change things or do things for the things that we don't hear, that we don't know about, but making sure that we always show up for those people, for the things that they want. And not, and I don't mean to like bash on the term of decentralization, or uh say centralization is a terrible thing. It's you know I think you're going to find pros and cons to both, but making sure we build a system that is sustainable and profitable. And ultimately that's what the final form is about, getting to the point of where everybody has a say. And in terms of a DAO is just your ability to cast a vote. And we can already do that. You can express like your pleasure or displeasure via the market, pancake swap in this case. If you don't like something, you sell. If you like something, you can buy. And that's a measure of voting that is probably more indicative of a true like democracy, the ability to cast a vote commensurate with like your share of input on that particular system. And so like I said, I don't want to be this guy that sounds like I'm bashing on the words, but because I'm not. They're really high goals to strive for, but there's definitely, like I said, real big downsides to it. And I don't think anybody would, be pleased with the idea of renouncing a contract or having a DAO where a hacker came in, manipulated the DAO, and stole everybody's money and said, "Whoops, that's decentralization. So fuck all you guys. I'll see you later." And so, anyway, that's what I have to say on it.
Yeah, I think we're again of very similar mindsets in that, and again, if you're not comfortable with that, and it's not a trust us situation. I mean, we're again, the code is, in other words, we're not managing people's funds. We do edit the code when we see fit. I think I can count on one hand the amount of actual code edits that we've made to Detonator, and that's only Detonator specifically. Um, Everything that we've done the entire time is either added further utility, added pools, or transferred pools. I mean, there really was never a situation where we, said one thing and did another, like 99% of other protocols have. I think, maybe the worst thing that's ever happened as far as changing the rules was discontinuing a pool that we had set up, but then we had another pool in its place to provide the same yield, if not better yield. So again, I don't. The argument is a little convoluted. And again, everybody's entitled to their opinion. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because I think it's healthy to have a conversation like that. And yeah, I mean, there is a level of centralization that has helped our protocol sustain. And I think, finding the balance is what is really important, to Bull's point. Yeah, absolutely. Do we want to move towards more, community-based votes and decentralization? Absolutely, but not at the expense of the sustainability of the protocol. So yeah, I hope that helps. Again, we have been audited. We're in the middle of a Paladin audit ourselves. That again shows no scam or rug code or anything like that. Where it's taking a while because we are working on some edits to Detonator yet again, to the point of not renouncing things. That we want to make Detonator even more sustainable, especially during bear markets. I think we saw the power of Detonator and Detonator as a service in sideways and bull markets, but we have a lot of levers that we can pull with Detonator, and we need to have another lever that we can pull in terms of sustainability when we see, the pool balance going down. So I'm excited for that to roll out too. Again, along with everything that we have coming out, and then yeah, I mean the whole goal and everything that we do is with the best interest of everybody in mind. And again, that doesn't mean that we're managing your funds. We never have a call to invest. No expectation of profit from the work of others. This is all just code on the internet. So I hope that answers your questions. And again, appreciate the input. So, all right, Bull, I think that was it, man. Any other questions or comments?
No, I think that's a good place to wrap it
Okay,
up. I mean, people will always just agree to disagree, and that's cool too. It's, until we can all like agree to how words are actually defined. I think there's probably going to be some measure of disagreement, and as you said, that's fine. It's a matter of just if you don't like something, don't invest, because ultimately, I think the number one thing we've always said here is that if you don't understand what's going on here, don't invest. If you don't like what's going on here, don't invest. The only call to action for investment that I've ever told anybody is to, invest in yourself. And, that's by educating yourself, understanding how any protocol you'd get into works, because knowledge is something that compounds, your whole life. Once you learn how to do that thing, you're never going to forget. It's probably going to be applicable in many other things. So, take the time to invest in yourself before you invest in anything else, because that investment in yourself is probably going to pay dividends for the rest of your life.
100%. Awesome. All right. On that note, Bull, again, another mic drop moment. And that is another huge part of our community. To further what Bull's saying, I mean, we pride ourselves on offering value outside of just monetary value. Again, I know that sounds very kumbaya and hippy dippy or whatever you want to call it. But it was really important to us. I mean, again, all of us are here to make gains, absolutely. But had I had a community like EMP when I first started in crypto, I would have saved myself hundreds and thousands of dollars getting into scam projects and not understanding how these protocols work. Falling victim to a slew of issues that we try to educate people on, and even just the emotional side. I mean, my first bear market, I was selling everything at the bottom because I didn't have any friends or a community that had already been through this over and over again to tell me, hey, half the shit is made up, half of it's media driven, the actual future of crypto is bright, and again, we're not here to convince anybody, we're just here to offer support and help grow the platform in the process. So, all right, awesome. Well, again, thanks for everybody for showing up. Our new schedule will be Mondays and Thursdays at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. Again, we'll have a better structure with show notes as well as what you can expect for the upcoming AMAs. And anybody that wants to, ask questions ahead of time, we're happy to open that up as well. The best thing you can do is actually leave a question in a previous AMA, and we'll start again using that as a way to field questions, and that will also help with our engagement as well. So, all right, awesome, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of the week, and we will see you on Thursday for the regularly scheduled AMAs. All right, good night, good day. See you Thursday.